Ex-MyHSR Corp CEO Datuk Mohamed Ismal Mohamed Kamal is expected to make his comeback to the company. Mohamed Ismal helmed the MOF-owned company from 2015 to 2019. A source told The Age that an official announcement on his return as CEO will be made tomorrow. Ismal declined to comment on the matter. MyHSR is Putrajaya's project delivery vehicle for the proposed Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail. The project was suspended in mid-2018. However, as the Age Malaysia Weekly reported in May, sources from various industries believe it will be revived soon, though it appears to have been scaled down. The PH government had pegged the cost of the entire project at about 100 billion ringgit versus the BN administration's estimate of 72 billion ringgit. While details are scarce, the sources told The Age the project may now cost as much as 68 billion ringgit and the Japanese are likely to play a key role in the project. AirAsia Group says it intends to raise as much as 2.4 billion ringgit in a bid to ease its tight cash flow. It plans to source up to 1 billion ringgit from financial institutions and the remaining 1.4 billion ringgit from equity. In its explanation note to the audited accounts for FY19, AirAsia said certain financial institutions in Malaysia have indicated the willingness to grant up to 1 billion ringgit in funding. It also believes that the outcome of securing a loan under the Dana Jamin Prihatin Guarantee Scheme is favourable. The group said that its subsidiaries in Indonesia and the Philippines are also in the midst of applying for bank loans. Investment analysts are concerned about AirAsia's plans. Some view that any debt that the carrier takes on is contingent on it being able to secure the loan under the Dana Jamin scheme. AirAsia also does not have many tangible assets for loan collateral, which may make it more difficult to borrow. Lembaga Tabung Haji says it recorded a 47% jump in first half of 2020 net profit to 1.25 billion ringgit from 849.66 million ringgit in the first half of 2019. This was on the back of 1.55 billion ringgit in investment income supported by sukuk and equity investments. Fixed income investments accounted for 1 billion ringgit or 65% of its total investment income. Property investments generated 204.57 million ringgit in income, while Islamic money market investments contributed 187.13 million ringgit. The remaining 150.27 million ringgit was gained from equity investments. Total deposits improved by 6% to 73.86 billion ringgit, while total assets outweighed liabilities by 1.86 billion ringgit. Group MD and CEO Datuk Mohamed Hassyuddin Yusof says TH foresees a more challenging Hajj management in 2021 with this year's pilgrimage postponed in light of the pandemic. However, he adds that TH has taken the necessary measures to identify the impact of the pandemic on its investments. Matrix Concepts Holdings net profit for the fourth quarter of FY20 fell 16% year-on-year, no thanks to higher expenses. Revenue was 69% higher year-on-year at 472.14 million ringgit. For FY20, overall earnings improved 7% year-on-year to 234.3 million ringgit as a result of higher revenue from increased progress billings of its residential and industrial projects in Negeri Sembilan. Revenue for the year hit a record high of 1.28 billion ringgit, up 23% from FY19 on the back of improved contributions from its developments. Matrix declared a fourth interim dividend of 2.5 cents per share to be paid on August 7th. In a statement today, the group said despite the challenging property market, its home still sees strong take-up, particularly in the Sendayan developments. New property sales came up to more than 1.04 billion ringgit in FY20, while the group had unbilled sales of 1.02 billion ringgit. Matrix says this will sustain earnings for the next 15 months. Meanwhile, Chairman Datuk Mohamed Haslam Mohamed Amin said Matrix has increased its land bank by 750 acres or 303.5 hectares to cater to the growing demand at its townships. This will help support growth for the next 7 to 10 years. Hinson Holdings is disposing of a minority stake in its Brazil floating production storage and offloading unit to Japan's Kawasaki Kisen-Kaisha for $49 million or 209.45 million ringgit. According to its board's filing, Hinson, through its indirect wholly owned unit Hinson AirAsia, will divest 8.5 to 10% in Hinson Boronia Consortium. The FPSO is scheduled to start work on the Malim oil and gas field revitalization project, which Petrobras operates and has agreed to a 25-year charter until 2048, a contract which is worth $5.4 billion. Hinson said the deal would allow it to partially monetize its investment in YBC and also free up financial resources, which can instead be used to expand and bid for future projects. Hinson settled 0.7% or 4 cents lower at 6 ringgit for a market capitalization of 6.58 billion ringgit.